Very good morning, traders, and welcome to today's live market profile and order flow trade analysis by Tradeducation. We are at episode 183, and before I share today's analysis, I would just like to go through a quick disclaimer that trading involves substantial risk and not suitable for all investors. Also, the information which I'm sharing is for educational purposes only. Okay, so trading is risky, and you have to manage your own risk on your own. I think let's start analyzing the market open. So let me just quickly share my screen and let's look at what can be the potential auction development paths for today. Okay, so one thing which I was looking at on the daily chart is I shared that if the auction starts falling, the destination target is the 200 EMA, and that's where the auction went. And so earlier yesterday I was planning to take a long, but as a trade setup was being formed for the shorter side, I took the short trade around 10,962 and I exited at 10 830 something. So that was a good 110 or 120 points which I was able to capture on intraday perspective. To be honest, I did not expect that we will be seeing a lot of selling pressure. So what I'm seeing is, so basically the moves which happen. What do you mean by the moves? So the moves which happen in this time frame, okay, in the month of July, in the month of August, okay. So if you see, and also up to the mid September, okay. So what was happening is overall the ranges were going narrow. That is one thing, but if you see the cause and effect, how much the buyers they were trying to take the auction higher. So look at the efforts which they put in. It's a 2.5 month effort. It's a very good effort, 2.5 month effort. And then in just 3 or 4 days, sellers came in and they took the entire auction down. Okay. So the point which I'm trying to make here is, from buyer's point of view, it was a 2.5 month effort of taking auction higher. Okay, and for sellers, it was just a 3 days effort to take the auction lower. Okay, so overall, if you see, this is, so what does this mean? This means that now will sellers be coming in, or will buyers be coming in, or we don't know. Okay, so the point which I'm trying to make here is, so this is the see the amount of efforts which buyers made in, and what the reason, another reason is for market going up is, I think a lot of emphasis was put on the Reliance stock, and it was just making higher highs, and I'm not currently looking at Reliance, but Reliance was the one which was acting as a catalyst, for higher auction development. Okay, so that can be the reason. I have not checked the Reliance chart, but maybe buyers are getting exhausted, and so this was, I think, in the around the September. So basically this candle is still intact. There are a couple of weaker references on the higher side, but now what can be the expected outcome? Now what should we do? Okay, so this is what the analysis I'm telling based on the data points which I'm able to gather. Okay, now what we should be doing. Okay, so now my reference will be this 200 EMA. What I'm expecting is, looking at the 3-day or the 4-day, if you see, or the 5-day, sellers are coming in. So there will be, now I'm expecting some sort of sideways development. So there will be strong selling coming in, but now I'm expecting a sort of balancing, because since day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5, so since last 5 days, the auction is just coming down. So this does not mean that auction will continue going down. Okay, that's not the scenario. That's the retail way of thinking. Smart way of thinking is whoever is selling, they will be booking some profits. So we need to expect some sort of balancing activity. So I'll be just looking for this balancing activity. And next is where that balancing is happening. Whether that balancing is happening below the 200 EMA, at the 200 EMA, or above 200 EMA. Okay. So based on that, I'll be taking or planning my trades. Okay. So that's the thought process, which currently I'm having. And so other thing is, there are a couple of anomalies. So we have a gap here. Yesterday also we had a gap down opening. It's a very small gap. Okay. Rest, there are a couple of stop losses which are built around this level. Okay. So buyers, so now currently sellers are winning. Now I'm expecting buyers to step in, and and the first way to measure the confidence of buyers is whether this gap is getting filled or not. If this gap is not getting filled today, maybe next week we can expect or anticipate that this will be filled. Okay. So sorry, I'm taking a lot of time, but it's very important to understand what's happening on the higher time frame rather than intraday perspective, because this will set your context right, and based on the context you can take the trades. Okay. So as the auction is just going down, what I'll do is I'll just add those data points. And so this was the high, and this is when the auction started falling. So now let me do one thing. So this is the balance low. The low is also weaker. This is the balance high, and it's around the value area is too high. Is it's still here. So I'll just delete this. Also delete this. Let me just delete all the lines. Now, what I'm expecting is so there is one more balance low here. So what I'm expecting from positional perspective is, first of all, what is happening at this VPOC, whether we are seeing a gap down opening, gap up opening. I would say not gap up, but so I'll be looking whether this act as the level of support or not. Okay. So I'm expecting some sort of bounce back and some sort of balancing. And if you draw a trend line, and this is like a trend line, and I'm expecting a big sharp tempo, try to fill the gap and then some sort of balancing. So this is the overall auction which I'm looking to develop. It may happen today or it may happen tomorrow or next week. I don't know, but this is the auction development path which I'm looking at. This is our first auction development path, indicating that buyers are strong. Buyers are back in the game. Second auction development path which I'm seeing is the auction goes, it develops within yesterday's range, and it just tags where the sellers came in, and then it continues to the lower side, looking for more market liquidity. Okay. The odds are low for this type of auction to happen, but it can happen. Okay. So the odds are low for this. So what can happen is maybe we might see one more push to the lower side, and there I'll be looking whether we have a good access or not. Once I get a good access, then that gives me confidence that yes, now buyers are coming in. Then I'll be trying to take a long trade. Okay. So yeah, again I'm taking a lot of time. So sorry for that. And let me see from the are there any HVNs? Yes, there are some HVNs. Okay, so this chart we will look later on. Now let me minimize this, and let's quickly jump to the market profile chart. So overall, there were the auction. Now the reference which I'll be looking at is this low. So let me delete this. And this. So now I'm looking at the high. So we have this small gap, and the auction will open in next 15 seconds. So let the auction open. I have not looked at the pre-open market session, but I'm hoping the auction to open within around the POC or around the half back levels. So the auction will open now. Yeah, so it opened around the halfback levels. Immediately we are seeing a small gap down. So here we have one single print zone here and the second single print zone here. So this will be getting cleared. So let's just sit and observe, and let me also study the structure. Are there any anomalies? So there is one anomaly. We have got one halfback here. Uh, we got a poor low, and yeah. So these are the two anomalies. Yeah, we also have one more halfback here. So I'm expecting the auction to continue lower, continue lower, and try to clear this poor low, and then maybe expect some sort of reversal. Okay. So today I'll be looking to short the markets. Let me merge this. Let's look at the order flow because volume will show a different picture. So 3000 contracts already traded, positive delta with negative or bearish candle. So a lot of discord going on. Okay, so looks like the low will be tagged now. Delta has turned negative 4000 contracts. So today let's see whether we get the 10,000 contracts or not. Let me look at the VSA chart. So this is a selling zone. Again, this is also a selling zone. Okay. Looks like my volume chart is messed up. That's fine. Just look at the order flow chart then. 5,000 contracts already traded. We have 2 minutes to go. So let's just observe. So overall confidence is low. Auction is opened around the POC of yesterday, and it is getting rejected around the POC. So this is the POC and the halfback. Multiple anomalies. There are a couple of anomalies. 1, 2. Here also 1 and 2 anomalies. So now sellers are getting exhausted. So let the market chop. Let me also look at the volume profile chart. Okay, so it is open. Yeah, so no further changes. It is opened above the 200 EMA. So at the point, there is no point in looking at the numbers because currently the confidence is low. So I don't look at the numbers. So let's just let it chop. What I'm looking at is whether we are getting rejected or accepted around VWAP. What's happening at the ISO? No point in looking at the numbers. We have to feel the pulse of the order flow. So now it is just tagging around the open and just developing sideways. So let me look at. Okay, so looks like my order flow chart is messed up. Let me hit fresh. Some issue with my charts. Okay, so there is some charting issue. So I'll just wait for this candle to close. Let's just see. So 10,000 is what I was looking at. Okay. So now the high is getting broken now. What the hell is happening? I don't know why this. Did I make any change? Just a second, guys. Yeah, everything is same. So okay, so last 5 minute, 9,500 contracts traded. This is where maximum selling pressure came in, 10,913. So that is the option which I'll be looking at. And what's happening is it went to the open and now it's going higher, went to the open, going higher. So not a good sign. If we study the price action, this is where selling pressure came in. So we are in the selling zone. What you can do is just wait for this halfback reference to get clear. This halfback reference, this one. So we have got one halfback which is not clear, and we also have a poor low. So let this particular reference be cleared. Okay, we are in the selling zone. So let the auction go higher. So that I don't look at numbers, because the more you look at numbers, it will create, for me, it creates a chaos. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at these numbers. You see below here. First one is the current volume delta, second is the cumulative delta, and the third row is the total volume. So this is only I look at. This is fine. The numbers can change, but I just look at the price action. So right now, if I want to take a trade, the auction should not close. So there are a couple of so I am a candlestick and a price action trader. So those rules I follow. Order flow will just give you where aggressive buying, aggressive selling is happening. But right now, if you see, there are a lot of aggressive buying happening. So how am I able to tell that? If you see this green bars, so a lot of aggressive buyers are there, and lack of selling pressure, lack of sellers are there. So let the auction go higher. Uh, you know, so you will only able to. I'm still learning order flow, and don't look at the specifics. I agree. We need to look at the numbers, but numbers are just numbers. These are all past data. So that's my way of looking at it. Yeah. So now the numbers are coming and going. So so I'm just waiting for it to stabilize. Okay. So we are seeing sort of delta divergence, not delta divergence, but the positive delta is reducing. So this is the cumulative. So if you see just going higher, now some sort of sideways development I'm expecting. Now it's just at the VWAP. Second thing which I was thinking is, why did the market open, up here, and the market closed here? So if you see, this is how many points. 103 points. So what changed overnight? That's the thing which I'm looking at. I don't know the answer to it, because there's a lot of, I'm not a market expert. I'm just looking at the data and then, taking the trades. Okay, so last 5 minute candle, 6,000 contracts, good volume coming in. Delta is positive. Now, continuous push from buyers needs to be there, needs to be seen. So if you see here the wicks, if you study the wicks, you see this was a sort of a doji candle, indecisiveness. So wait for the low to break or the high to break and see, observe. I'm not take a trade when high breaks. Don't do that. Just observe what happens when the high gets broken or the low gets broken. Okay, so it looks like only red is giving any comments. So uh, other guys, if you have got any comments, yeah, please do chip in. Okay, so here there was no sellers. Now momentum sellers are stepping in. Now lack of momentum buyers. So this is the reference zone, 10913 or 10914, which I shared. And from there is where sellers are stepping in now. The delta is now slowly diverging. Here it's just developing sideways. So one comment from red, current candle, if we don't get above that heavy passive buyer short can be present. Yes and no. Yes and no. So what I'm looking at is, so there are, if you see, there are stacked. So there are stacked momentum buyers here. So I'll be waiting for those buyers. Once this particular is broken, then I'll expecting to go to the lower side. If this does not happen, I'm expecting some sideways development. Okay. But my trade plan is to take a short. That's my trade plan. Currently, the auction is not developing as per my understanding. So I'll wait for the auction to do, or to provide me some clarity. Okay. Because market is going to chop. So if we study from the emotions, what's happening is, people would have seen, oh, since last 3 4 days Nifty is falling. Today also they might have seen a gap up, so they would have thought, oh, it's a gap up, then we will see if we can short, because the rule is, if there is a gap up, you have to go against, and if it's a gap down, you have to go against the gap downs, trying to fill this particular gap which is there. Okay, so a lot of such traders are there, and they make a lot of mistakes. So today there can be a scenario wherein we just trade sideways, then we see a good tempo, again sideways, again a good tempo, again sideways, and then try to fill this small gap, this gap. Okay, so we are forming higher lows. So this can be possible. Anything can be possible because it's markets. Okay, so the auctions, so sellers are stepping in now. Volume, let's see, volumes are flat. So 9500 to 6100. Right now we are around 3500. Yeah, that's what I shared. Read. That's what I shared about this. So this stacked buyers is what. So now I'm waiting for buyers to step in again. Yes, so that's what I'm looking at, how they defend. By the way, there is some issue with the candle and the order flow numbers. So right now sellers are stepping in. So here it is 920, here it is 924. Why so? Yeah, this was the issue. I don't know why. How did this came in? Let me just see if there is a template which I have saved. And order flow. Okay, so now I think there was some issue there. Now it's fixed. Yeah, now we are able to see the numbers. Okay, so now we need to see whether these buyers are defending the position or not. So 3700 delta is turning negative. By the way, the high is weaker. The low, there are trapped sellers. So high is weaker. Expect further continuation to the upside. And it looks like those passive buyers or buyers who came in, they are defending and they are taking the auction again higher. Yeah, there are a couple of options to look at delta, I think, but I don't know how to. What's the point of looking at those numbers? I don't know how to interpret this. Okay, so that's why I'm just looking at the bid ask. You can also look at this histogram. I tried to do this, but it created a lot of confusion. So then I'm just looking at this. So if you know how to look at delta, please do guide me, because I'm also a newbie. I would say, yeah, learning based on my experience. Right. Okay. So those buyers who came in, they are. So the high will be getting tagged now. Okay. So as I said, there is a reference this intrabar half bank that has been taken out. Sure, Ed, I'll look at emoji trading and the second last. So if you can just share the URL. Do I have to look up in YouTube, or which video you're talking about? So good positive momentum coming in. Good push. This is a good push. Okay, I'll look at in YouTube then. Yeah, thanks, Ed. So more upside coming in. So this was the tempo. Now if you see what is happening is there are stop loss orders, limit orders, around this high, around this high. So I'm expecting this to be getting tagged. Okay, high is weaker, expect to continue higher. Now sellers are stepping in. A lot of momentum buying came in, lack of selling. 5,000 contracts in the last previous candle. Yeah, the delta is rising. More upside. So good tempo. Yeah, sure, Red. It's fine. You can delete your chat history. It's good to share feedback. I don't want it to be a one-way street or a simplex. I want it to be a duplex system. Yeah, feel free to delete your chats if you would like to. So currently, I'm not seeing any good trade setup. My plan is to short the markets. I'm not looking or I'm not seeing any opportunity to short at the moment. I'll observe what's happening at this and this because I'm expecting some good tempo up. And then if I see some sort of exhaustion, then I'll be taking a short, or else I'll be just observing the auction, what's happening. Okay, so auction is just now developing sideways. Okay, guys. So thank you, Red, for your comments and sharing your knowledge. And uh, with that, I'd like to end today's session. So my overall trade plan is to look for a short opportunity. Currently, I'm not seeing any opportunity. So I'll be just staying away and just looking at how the market is, getting developed. Okay, or the auction is getting developed. Bit more in the order flow. I don't know, what do you mean by zoom in, Red? It's already zoomed in. So what you would like to look at? Okay. Okay, guys. So thank you for taking your time, and let's again catch up on Monday, and let's see how the auction develops. Yeah. So with that, ending this session, and happy and safe trading. Bye for now.